back to the echoes of Europe. Wow. 36 goals and four clean sheets. What we just witnessed in the Champions League was absolute unfiltered chaos. The kind of football that makes you question tactics and logic. 8 games and somehow every single one delivered something, whether it was total dominance, last-ditch desperation, or teams defending like they just met each other. Leads disappeared, comebacks exploded, and somewhere a few managers are currently staring into the abyss, wondering how on earth they conceded so many goals in an important knockout game. This is the round of 16 second leg games where dreams get crushed, reputations get written, and defending, apparently, becomes optional. On today's pod, we're diving headfirst into the madness, the brilliance, the bottled jobs, and the moments that made you jump off the sofa or hide behind it, depending on who you were supporting. Because this wasn't just Champions League football. This was theatre, this was carnage. And if you thought the chaos stopped with the heavyweights, oh no. Because sometimes the Champions League saves a special kind of madness for the ties you think you've already got figured out. But before we get into it, Tim, tell me about your shirt.
Oh, I'm glad you asked about this one. So obviously,
It's a sexy shirt.
Firstly, actually, let me ask you, do you know what season this is from?
It's a retro shirt.
It is. I've actually called it a bring back collection, but yeah, retro shirt is really actually
Bring back collection. I don't, mate. I don't. I think you've had a, like from...
Give me a decade.
From my recollection, you've had another kit that's resembled that fairly recently. But
Yeah,
it's
my
been
wife bought me one, yeah.
Like a lighter green that I refer to like a Blackburn kit, I believe was what I said about that
Yes,
kit.
yeah. That was the 2016-17 away shirt.
Yeah. But this one I like. I'm gonna guess like 80s, 90s.
Which one, mate?
90s. I'll go 90s.
It is 90s. It is 95-96 away shirt. It's beloved by Liverpool fans. Obviously, I was 2 years old when this kit came out, and I was 3 by the end of the season. So I'd never owned this shirt, but obviously it is a shirt that's gone around. Adidas, they've obviously repartnered with Liverpool. It's been a great collaboration so far. This is the type of thing that they're going to make ridiculous amounts of money from, is throwing back to the 90s when we were terrible and bringing back great kit. I really like this kit. The collar, I'm never going to do the button up, look like a vicar, but I really like the kit. It's really nice. It's quite cool. I'll be wearing it a lot probably wearing it to weddings, bar mitzvahs, funerals. But the 95-96 season, it's very Fowlery. They did a great bit of advertisement to launch the kit. It was really, really cool. I got myself a jumper as well, which is elite. In fact, I actually probably prefer the jumper than the kit. But actually, this season is most famously known for Eric Cantona scoring the winner against Liverpool for Man United in the FA Cup final. And we wore this kit. So that's what a lot of fans, obviously, of that era remember, but it's still massively popular. Purely because Fowler was ripping it up with his blonde hair. And those classic Liverpool Newcastle games from sort of that era, Colin Moore and Fowler and McManaman.
Yeah.
And those types. But yeah, really, really like this kit. And I thought it only came out in the last couple of weeks. It arrived this week. So I thought I'd wear it for this pod. If Adidas want to sponsor me or Liverpool or anyone wants to give us any money, that's great.
That'd be great.
But yeah, Scott, what kit are you wearing?
So I am wearing, I think there seems to be a theme at the minute because this is a shirt, a commemorative shirt is what the Swans did it. I think it was 94 and 95 season.
Show us some of the features. Give me show me those famous sleeves.
The famous sleeves, nice little stripes. I think it's probably like Tim is well aware of how I bought this shirt. He might not remember it right now, but
no, I remember.
I was irate at this time. Tim was telling me there was Swans legends in the Clay Stadium shop. I was queuing for about an hour and a half, 2 hours to buy this shirt, and I'm not a very patient man at the best of times, and I ended up buying this shirt online and leaving
whilst in the
shop.
queue. Yeah,
whilst in the queue because I was just not moving. But yeah, it's a commemorative shirt. It's from the 1994-95 season. I think we wore it in a. What did we do? I think it's when we secured We won. I think we won in Wembley via penalty shootout,
Yeah.
and that's the reason why I think
You won the equivalent of whatever the Johnsons paid LDV Vans trophy was, wasn't it? Football
they
League
changed its
trophy.
name so many times.
The Football
So
League
yeah,
trophy, I think, actually, I think
yeah, the
exactly.
football league. So yeah, and then it was the first time in a while that the Swans have brought out a kit that was unanimously loved by
It
everybody.
is loved, yeah.
Um, so yeah, I thought how fitting, it'd be
Look at
a
us,
nice
both
to do.
rocking some retro kits, and we do not coordinate this either. So this is just
We done this
purely
just coincidence.
90s vibes from a couple of 90s boys here. Um, absolutely loving it.
Yeah, we're now gonna get back into what we had to talk about, the Champions League. So let's get into it.
First game up, the first game of Tuesday night, Sporting Club de Lisbon against Bodo Glimt. It finished Sporting 5, after extra time, of course, Sporting 5, Bodo Glimt 0. Cracking game.
Yeah.
Absolutely cracking game. It was as fun. It started the second legs as we meant to go on. Going into the game, of course, Bodo Glimt had a 3-goal lead. Um, they were the first team in history to name a starting 11, the same starting 11. Of course, they named starting 11. Everyone named starting 11, but they named the same starting 11 for the sixth successive game for the first time in history, which I think was really interesting. And given how obviously the previous 5 games have gone, why not? Um, However, that was pretty much where the positives ended for Bodo Glimt.
Mhm.
Sporting were relentless. Um, you know, 1-0 up relatively early through. I'd centre half I quite like, who I actually expect to move to a slightly bigger European club. Ignacio put them 1-0 up. Then, Goncalves was 2-0 up. A really well hit pen by Suarez. I think that was not that one, his 5th Champions League goal of the season, which puts him, I think, 1 goal behind the highest the players ever scored from the Champions League, which I think is Gyökeres, with 6. Um, so that was obviously 3-0, and they were pushing and pushing and pushing. And
Yeah.
then you move into extra time, and I was watching it thinking, there's no way Bodo are going to do this. And they didn't. Araujo put them 4-0 up after 91 minutes and 23 seconds, obviously 1 minute 23 into extra time. It's actually the earliest goal ever scored in extra time
Yeah.
in the UEFA Champions League history. And to be honest, that celebration was class because it was really emotional, like passion. And you could see the fans like absolutely losing their heads. The ones,
Yeah.
what I will say, there were quite a lot of empty, not a lot of empty seats, but there was a few empty seats
Yeah, I noticed that behind the goal as well. Like, there was quite a few
in Lisbon. I
dotted
know
around.
it
Like,
rains a lot. It was raining a lot, and obviously I was in Lisbon literally this time last year, and the weather was
yeah,
horrendous. So if anybody ever tells you to go to Lisbon, it's always sunny, they're lying. It does rain, and when it rains, it really rains. But yeah, it was class. 4-0. The takeaway was the goal, not the rain, and the emotion was there. And then 5-0 or 5-0 as he wrapped it up with the 5th goal.
I like that.
Was And that's all she wrote. And so obviously that was the game. But in terms of what it actually, this is Sporting Lisbon's first European Cup or Champions League quarter final since the mid '60s. It's a phenomenal achievement. You know, it's their greatest night in modern
Yeah.
European Champions League elite level history. They reached the UEFA Cup final in 2005, but this is obviously in the Champions League, the quarter final. It's phenomenal given yes, they're against Bodo Glimt, but they're 3-0 down. They become only the 5th side in the knockouts to ever overturn a
Yeah.
3-goal deficit.
They joined some elite company.
They join, yeah, and I've got the list in front of me. Deportivo La Coruña against Milan in the 03-04 quarterfinals. Barcelona v PSG, the remontada, of round of 16 in 2017. Roma Barcelona, of course, and was it Manolo? Yeah, Manolo in the quarterfinals in 2018.
And then, go on, Tim.
Liverpool and Barcelona, 18-19. And then, yeah, now Sporting and Bodo Glimt. So that's historic for so many reasons. First quarter final in like 50 years or whatever. Only the 5th team to ever go to a 3-goal deficit in the knockout. Inter Milan couldn't do it, and they had a 2-goal deficit, against Bodo Glimt, and Sporting had done it, and now they get to play Arsenal. in the quarterfinals, and I think it's brilliant. Do you have any thoughts on the game, mate?
No, I think we both predicted, based on how Bodo Glimt got through their previous tie, that Bodo Glimt would manage to control this game and come through.
No.
That obviously was not the case. I think I used the phrase in the build up to the first legs. I think everybody was sleeping on Sporting, and maybe that was the case again, because they were absolutely fantastic, like relentless and aggressive from the off. I think the early goal helped them, and I think obviously
They created everything, didn't they?
yeah,
They just,
they were playing like madmen, but structured madmen, and it just worked. Like, and obviously, like you mentioned about the goal in extra time, I believe that is the earliest goal in knockout Champions League history in extra time of a knockout tie.
I did say that about 2 minutes ago.
Well, Scott's memory in it. So
Yeah, we'll cut that.
it was just a fantastic night for them. Like, but do you think though this changes how we perceive them going into the next round, or do you still think it's a foregone conclusion that they could struggle against Arsenal?
I think it's a good question. So well done. And I definitely think you could look at the two sides of the coin, couldn't you? You could say they don't know when they're beat. They've got goals in their team. They can ride this wave into against Arsenal. Or you could say they were 3-0 down to Bodo Glimt after the first leg, and therefore there are errors in this team, and we go from there. But I'm going to choose to focus on the positive and say, yeah, absolutely. I think it gives them more respect. I think Arsenal did beat them 5-1 in last year's group phase. But even still, it's great for Portuguese football. It's good to have a team in the quarterfinals from any nation, and yeah, it's good to see them in the sun. We've obviously we almost dedicated an entire episode to Benfica beating Barcelona, beating Real Madrid in the group stages and in the last game, and so it's only right that Sporting get their praise. But yeah, into the quarterfinals and on to our next game.
And now on to the next game, Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, under the lights, against PSG in the Champions League, and it was all over in about 14 minutes. Actually, Chelsea came into it with a mountain to climb, and then within 14 minutes, they stood no chance of climbing that mountain. Early goals from Kvaratskhelia.
You're getting better.
Thank you very much. And Barcola, I think it was on 7 and 14 minutes, or 6 or 14. So within
6 and 14. Yeah.
So within 40 minutes of the game being started, the tie was effectively over. I think this was PSG just effectively showing their quality. There were some lovely bits of play. Chelsea just could not get into the game at all. I think it just felt like one of those nights where the gap at this level is just brutally exposed. Like, obviously Chelsea under a young manager in this competition, Liam Rosinha. I told you, man, I'm getting better.
Mate, you're nailing the pronunciations now.
Thank you very much.
He's on a roll.
I'm on a roll. I think it showed tonight that even though obviously both teams have got decent squads, but it just shows the quality that PSG have at their disposal.
And the experience that they've got as well.
Yeah, I think we've had a lengthy discussion about both these teams, given how long their seasons have been. But for me, PSG in this tie, they didn't look like a tired team.
Do you think they looked like a team that had the weekend off?
Yes.
Because they did.
Yeah. That was what I was leading to, Tim. But yeah, I think it would be interesting to see how they progress now. I think there's no point dwelling too much obviously on the game because it was just utter control by PSG. Unless you have other thoughts about the game, Tim.
Only that Chelsea started Sarr, didn't they? And then he made a mistake after 6 minutes.
Yeah.
To lead to the Kvaratskhelia goal. I thought Barcola's goal was brilliant.
Yeah, very good goal.
There were boos at half time from the Blues, the booing Blues, the bluey Blues. And yeah, at 3-0 down, then when my Lulu, not your Lulu, scored a great goal.
I think the stadium started empty at 60 minutes. Tonight,
literally was, but yeah, it floods.
It was mad,
floods of Chelsea fans heading back to their mansions and penthouses and, and castles and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I ended up switching over from this game after 6 minutes because it was done. But no, my only other takeaways were I love that PSG away kit. It's so banging, that red and blue little number. I thought it was absolutely beautiful.
Another good colour clash as well. You know, red against blue always goes well, like so.
It does go well, yeah. It's obviously PSG's 900th kit of the season, but it is phenomenal, and I look forward to seeing what kit they're going to rock up on Anfield. But no, before I pass back to you, I think I've got one question for you. What did you make of Liam Rosenior's note to Garnacho when they were 85th minute or what it was, and they were 3-0 down, and he's passing a note to give to Caicedo? Do you bear in mind? Obviously, you know, we're given the overall aggregate score is 8-2 at this point.
For the life of me,
and he's given a tactical note with 5 minutes to go.
I can't remember what this note says. Enlighten me, Tim. Refresh my memory.
The note is kind of irrelevant, but it's to do. Is it relevant? I think Charbala. And this now is me. I'm putting Charbaloa. Charbala. What's his name? Chalaba. There we are. Charbaloa. It's like Arbaloa's son. He was going off injured because he'd been injured. And so Chelsea were down to 10 men. They used their subs. I think he was telling Caicedo to go to right back, but he was doing it via a note to Garnacho, so secretly at 3-0 down. And I just think he's very David Brent.
Do you know, I was just about to say, like,
mate, it's 8-2, mate. Who cares?
Yeah,
if switching Caicedo to right back. Grow up, mate.
But for those that don't watch, obviously, Premier League football, I think Liam Rosenior has been likened. If you're a fan of the show called The In-Betweeners, as well.
Oh yeah, Will.
He's becoming sort of like
he's a joke, isn't he?
Meme or meme? I know
it's a meme. It's a meme. Yeah.
Person, like, obviously they've got this pre-kick-off tactics. His interviews are a bit eccentric, but yeah, what was that about? Is that the game is done? Just fucking. It doesn't matter, does it? It doesn't matter. I know he's trying to probably instill a bit of like, even in defeat goes, we have to maintain a certain sort of structure. But lad, you're getting stuffed. Like, just yeah.
It's 8-2, mate.
Yeah, it's just there's nothing you can do. You're not going to come back. You know what I mean?
Chill out.
But yeah, like to close it off, really. Obviously, PSG progressed to the next round. You alluded to in the last episode, Tim, that based on the first leg performance, it's a team that you would not like to face because of obviously how good they are attacking. Based on obviously, we'll get into the Liverpool game now, so just without going into too much into that, how do you feel now about facing them in the next round quarterfinals?
Far more excited and optimistic than I was when the last time we recorded. Yes, they're brilliant. Yes, they're back. Yes, they're champions of Europe. They're coming to Anfield. Let's go. Like, a week ago, whenever it was, I was done.
Yeah.
A few days ago, I was done with this team. But just when you think you're done, they pulled me back in.
The beautiful game, mate. The beautiful game.
And I was, just reminded, whilst having a pint even before the game in the sun, because yes, it was sunny in the UK this week. And just thinking about that time, which I will have a ticket for. Again, PSG, and us going there to Paris in the first leg, bringing them back to ours. Reminiscence of last year's classic game where, yes, they battered us in the first leg, but we won 1-0. Alisson was man of the match. And then in the second leg, we were the better team, and they beat us on pens after winning 1-0 in the normal game. And yes, a lot has changed for Liverpool in the last 12 months, but a lot's changed with PSG in terms of that they're not at the same level, even after this performance against David Brent, like, and his band of billionaire bottle jobs. They £1 billion bottle job, whatever it was. I genuinely think, yes, they are the better team. They are the champions of Europe, but if we the fans are like what we were like, just gone, and if the players play like that, bring it on. It's going to be a great game, and this is what Champions League all about.
Yeah.
And now we head to North London, forever, for Arsenal 2, Bayer Leverkusen 0. Of course, on aggregate, that's Arsenal go through to the quarterfinals 3-1. A game where I think actually give Arsenal credit where it's due after we gave them some criticism, even though we actually gave them some praise for the result. But I think they actually, up until when they scored, they played well. They probably some of the best I've actually seen them play from open play. And yeah, I thought they were actually really good. They were an Arsenal team that I actually was enjoying watching for the first time in a while. Eze, genuinely one of my favourite players in the Premier League. I think he's a really, really good player. And he scores an absolute belter. And he's going to be key for Arsenal in their pursuit of trophies this season. I think it was a banging goal. A rocket.
Very good goal. Even the play before it as well was very good.
Yeah, it was a really good goal. Really nice build-up. Really banging goal. Declan Rice with a lovely placement goal. Really liked it. Showing his true quality. Brilliant midfielder. Really, world class. Is a phenomenal midfielder, but easily in the top 5 midfielders in the world.
Yeah.
Really, really good player, obviously. And gets his first Champions League goal since that brace that he never shuts up about against Real Madrid. And rightly so. I would shut that at even if I was him.
Right.
I was surprised to see Ben White starting for Arsenal.
Same.
That hasn't happened very often. That was one of my takeaways from the game. No Max Dowman, despite the fact he's been compared to Lionel Messi and he's on the plane to the World Cup this summer. Didn't even get off the bench.
He was still in school.
How can you leave Dowman on the bench? It was a school night, to be fair. But yeah, I think Leverkusen. I think we said last week they missed an opportunity. They still managed to create something, not really anything great.
Yeah.
Wasn't really, I think, Arsenal. The fact that we look at all the other goals on the other side, the fact that when Arsenal were 1-0 up, you knew it was done. I think if we're to praise, says a lot about Arsenal because they're solid, you back them. But I think it also is a slightly damning indictment of the game and Leverkusen in terms of which I didn't believe they could come back. Do you have any thoughts on the game?
No, I think you pretty much said it all. Obviously, like standing performance for Leverkusen was probably the goalkeeper Blaswich. I think he made some very good saves to attempt to keep them in the tie, but there just seemed to be nothing coming from Leverkusen. The only stat they had in their favour was possession, but they did nothing with that possession. I think Arsenal had a third of possession and had over 20 shots. So yeah, I think it was just like you said, Tim. When Arsenal went one goal up, the game was effectively done, and everyone knew that as well. So, they move obviously on now, as we've alluded to, a game against Sporting. You fancy them progressing, and then it could set up a blockbuster tie for them in the semi-finals. So yeah, that's all. Really, I've got to touch on this game. So.
Yeah, I think I'll close it off by just saying, I think Arsenal have now reached their third Champions League quarter-final in a row, and the second time they've ever done that, previously between 2007 and 2010. They're adding European experience, and I think you can see that the fact they can navigate this tie quite easily and obviously navigate the groups. That's something that Arsenal as a club just haven't had in their history. They haven't been good in Europe. They haven't been good enough for the team they've had, the players they've had play for them. They've not been good enough in Europe.
Yeah.
And Arteta is doing that at the moment in terms of the consecutive. Obviously, you've got to take the next step. You have to take the next step at some point to really benefit from the rewards and receive true praise because we're reaching 3 quarterfinals in a row doesn't win any accolades. But big steps in the right direction.
Yeah, I think as well, though, you just alluded to the severe lack of success in the last couple of decades. There's a lot of hype around Arsenal at the minute.
Well, forever in Europe.
Or forever in Europe.
Since inception, yeah.
That the fact that they're going to go on this, historic quadruple run, which
win the first one first.
Win the first one Sunday first. I don't understand. Obviously, but yeah, it's for me. It's how they deal with that pressure. I think, and we'll see that when it happens. But yeah, it'll be very. Come on, mate. You're going to interject then.
We'll close it with this. By the time this comes out, the League Cup final will be concluded. So all the listeners will know the result. We obviously don't because this is the past. You're listening in the future. Great. Time is crazy. Scott, it's Monday morning.
Yeah.
Who's just won the Carabao Cup?
Arsenal. I personally think, and we will allude to it in the next game, try not to be too crass, but City are fucked.
I think I'll go the other way. They are fucked. I think City will win.
Interesting.
I think they might win on pens. I think it could be a draw and go the full distance. I feel like, I'll cover it now. Guardiola's first trophy in English football was a 2018 League Cup win against Arsenal. I think this will be his last trophy in English football, and it's a full circle moment, and it'll be against Arsenal, obviously on Sunday. That's my. I like sometimes with football to look around the illogical and look at just the sort of the narrative, the story, and what's in it. In terms of, listen, Arsenal are a great team. They are a better team than Man City. Man City have struggled at quite a bit this season, but Arsenal still didn't beat them this season. Even they drew at the Emirates, and I feel like City will cause them problems because I think Arsenal, and I've seen it with Liverpool, when you've got something maybe in the distance, like the fact they're going to win the Premier League, I don't know. But obviously City have won loads in the past, and you could make that counter argument. But I just feel like this trophy is actually now maybe more important for City than it is for us. I know it will be Arsenal's first trophy in 6 years, but they're going to win the Premier League.
Yeah.
They're going to win the Premier League. And so, yeah, Man City-wise, I don't know. I feel like it could be them. But obviously, I think it's 50-50, and it's interesting that you're going Arsenal, I'll go Man City. And yeah, whoever's right on Monday morning can laugh at the other one because this is now going to be out.
But yeah, on to the next game.
I hope they both lose.
And now we're off to a stadium that both Tim and myself have nicknamed the Empty Had.
We definitely didn't invent that, but yeah.
Yeah. Real Madrid against Manchester City. Obviously, we've made this joke a few times, but a game that we haven't really seen that much. Jokes aside, I think Tim too. We was talking about this game earlier in the week, and it's the third most played game in the Champions League history now. Tim, is it? I think it's got with 17 times.
He's joined second now with Real Madrid, Juventus. They're both on 17 matches, and then the one above it is on 22 matches, which is Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, which of course by the end of April will be on 24 matches.
24 matches, which is absolutely crazy. But yeah, believe it or not, obviously City came into this tie after quite an imbalanced performance in the first leg, 3-0 down. With I don't want to use the phrase a mountain to climb because I used that in one of the other games we covered, but I can't think of anything else, man. But yeah, they had a massive
with a hill to walk up.
With a hill to walk up, there we go, man. With a moon to rocket to. There we go. Because they like blue moons in Manchester, don't they? Ignore that. But yeah, believe it or not, they actually started the better of the two sides. They dominate possession in typical Pep Guardiola fashion. The breakthrough, however, came when Bernardo Silva tried his hand or more his elbow at goalkeeping. I mean, what the fuck was he doing? If you're going to try and do something, try to be a bit smarter with it.
Stupid, right?
So early in the game as well. So early in the game.
I hate him as well. I'll be honest, I hate him. That could have happened to a nicer bloke.
Is that because he's a very good player, though?
No, he's a good player. I just hate him as a person, mate. As a human being. It's personal.
Yeah. But yeah, what the fuck was he doing? I mean, sticking the elbow out as if he was, a fighter in the UFC or some shit. You know what I mean? But then, who better to step up than the man of the moment so far for Real Madrid, Vinicius Junior.
Second time lucky as well, obviously, after he'd missed the week before.
Yeah. So yeah, obviously he stepped up, converted it, with relative ease, enjoyed the celebration, and then from there, for me the game was done. Even though Haaland got a goal back for City, obviously Tim, we spoke on the night, and you were like, "Oh, Madrid are going to go, Man City got a chance at this game." And then I think we both realised straight away it was just a massive banterous joke because they absolutely stood no chance. And then closing the game off in the night, was it the 91st minute? I think was it?
Yeah.
Who again, Tim? Who scored?
Vinicius Junior, mate. Vinny Junior. Yeah.
Did you know he's been involved in 51 goal contributions in the last 5 years?
Is that the most of any player?
I believe it's him and Mbappe leading the way. I think.
It's insane, really. I think there was also he's got more braces than now. It's which is 7. He's got 7 Champions League braces, which is more than Luis Suarez and Wayne Rooney, who both got 6. Obviously, both of them are better players than Vinicius Junior. As is Rodri, the Ballon d'Or winner. City fans like to continually remind Vinicius, which is great.
Yeah, that's good banter. That's good banter, obviously.
It's great, but it's phenomenal, mate.
But yeah, do you have any thoughts on this game, mate?
I actually thought, listen, we made jokes about the City crowd, but the City crowd were very up for it. I genuinely thought they might actually believe. They were quite behind the crowd. Pep Guardiola was dressed like a divorced dad from an LA sitcom. I don't know what clubber he was wearing the other night. I thought it was baffling. The Courtois injury.
Massive.
6 weeks with a groin, I believe, is out.
Misses the Bayern Munich games.
Misses the Bayern Munich games and obviously important La Liga games in the run-in. But obviously, as a Champions League pod, we will obviously focus on the Bayern Munich games, which will be huge. But I think you've said off air, Luman's a good goalie, isn't he?
Yeah, he's very good. He's very promising. As obviously, he's not the level of Courtois, but at the moment, is anybody?
Did you just describe him as promising? Sorry, I hate to pick you up on stuff like this.
It's promising.
Mate, he's almost as old as me and you.
Yeah, but he's still promising, mate. You know what I mean? He doesn't play. When people don't play, he's promising.
Do you know he's been there for like a decade?
He's been there a while, mate, and but he doesn't play because
he's
that's fucking good.
He's 27. He's 27. But he's been there since 2018. And he's made, like, I think 60 appearances, something like that. 56.
How do you see him coping against the people... There's probably too many names to name who could score goals for Bayern Munich. But
you've got to say Harry Kane, haven't you?
Obviously Harry Kane, but we've touched on before. They've got so many players that can score a goal. How do you see the loss of Courtois affecting Madrid?
Before this game, this obviously I've said that this is the worst City team I think Guardiola's had since his first season. This is obviously the worst Real Madrid team as well. I think I said since 2009, in my opinion, I think it was. Yeah, they stepped up. They've got players missing. Your Bellinghams, your Mbappe was back. I think he came off the bench as well in this one. So he should be back fully fit for the Bayern games. But this Real Madrid, I don't know. They've just done something which I didn't expect them to do, which is absolutely batter Man City 5-1 over 2 legs. So you have to that is important. But the loss of Courtois against that attack, that just feels monumental.
Yeah. You just know, you've got a feeling it's going to be in Madrid's head as well, because
he is the best goalkeeper in the world.
Yeah, and they know what's coming. And obviously, we're going to touch Bayern Munich, shortly, and they know what's coming in that game.
Yeah. It's such a huge loss, and I do think I don't fancy City going into it right now. See, I don't fancy
Madrid.
Good job, I wouldn't fancy City not in the competition. I don't fancy Madrid. I felt like Sol Campbell when he was doing that thing on Sky Sports where he's predicting the World Cup. Niche reference.
Shout the show.
I don't fancy Real Madrid.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they deserve loads of respect for what they've now achieved. They're still going well in La Liga. Arbeloa has managed 2 knockout games, and he's knocked out Jose Mourinho and Pep Guardiola.
Yeah. He's a Kingslayer,
That's pretty good.
Yeah, Kingslayer.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah. He's having a good time.
Kingslayer. Jamie Lannister. Jamie Arbeloa. Arvo Lannister. Why? That's really funny. I love it. But yeah. So obviously City are out of the Champions League now, so they can focus on the Capital One Cup, whatever it's called, Carling Cup, Coca-Cola Cup, Wellington Cup, Milk Cup.
Hopefully soon the Johnson Page Trophy Cup. We never know, mate.
I'm laughing here. Liverpool have got City away off in the FA Cup, and I'm nervous about that. But I think it was done. It was interesting. It's interesting, isn't it, in knockout football, where City are, even however good they are, they're one of those teams that, and maybe this is unfair, the fact they lost 3-0 in Madrid, I generally didn't think they were going to come back.
Yeah, same.
And I think even when City have good teams, I don't back them to come back. I just feel like it's not I don't know, it's not Guardiola's style. These teams haven't necessarily got a style. Maybe that's completely wrong.
Yeah.
And maybe when we review some previous games, that'll prove that to me. But yeah, they're not a comeback team. I don't see them as a comeback. I see them as a team that goes and takes control and just controls. They control
and dominates. I
dominate.
Like you said, we could be wrong with this, but I've never really seen them come back from a massive deficit.
And yeah, never mind. I've got one question for you while we focus on City, because obviously we're gonna say goodbye to Man City now.
Yeah.
But there was a question put to Pep Guardiola recently, and obviously he's been at Manchester City now for 10 seasons, and in that time he's reached 2 finals and he's won European Cup, one Champions League. Do you think that is a failure?
Like, are we just talking about the Champions League under Pep, or can we bring in everything?
No, just in the Champions League.
With the squads he's had and the expenditure they've had,
on and off the books.
It's all advertising.
115 charges.
Announcement soon. I would say 1 is not enough, personally.
Would you say? Okay, I would agree with that, but would you say it's a failure?
No, I won't say it's a failure.
No, and I think that's disrespectful. Exactly, they won it, and I think it's disrespectful to say it's a failure. They've won 1. They've reached 2 finals. They've been knocked out by Real Madrid 4 out of every single time. 4 of the last 5 years. The year they didn't get knocked out by Real Madrid, they won it.
Yeah.
Because they beat Real Madrid. So it's not a failure. They've been knocked out by some good. There are some embarrassing knockouts in there, like they lost to Lyon in the COVID season, where Pep completely overthought it. They shouldn't have lost to that Chelsea team under Thomas Tuchel. He completely overthought it and chose the wrong team. There's been a couple of times, where he's obviously been outclassed by Real Madrid. A young Monaco team knocked him out in his first attempt, I think it was. Liverpool knocked them out, absolutely blew them away in the 2018 season. But Liverpool were riding a wave at that point, and those Pep's team that year were Centurions. He knew then suddenly that this was a team that he's going to have to pay close attention to in the coming years. And it's a shame, really, we didn't get to face them again in the Champions League. At some point, there was a possibility of a few finals at different times, a few semis, if St. George had gone ways. But yeah, he's not a failure. I think, they should be disappointed that they haven't gone on to achieve more Champions League. But getting over the line and getting that first one is really important.
Yeah.
We covered PSG in a look-back game, a rewind, Revista, the other day. And we talked about how, that was a 2015-16 game, I think it was. Was it? No, it was a 14-15 game.
14-15 game, yeah.
Yeah, obviously PSG at that point, we're still going to have to wait another 10 years to win the Champions League. PSG have only just won it. Think about all the money they spent as well. Chelsea, they didn't have to wait as long as City, in terms of, from the takeover to the actually winning. But, they went through Jose Mourinho, they went through Carlo Ancelotti,
So many.
And it took a Di Matteo, dogged, low block performance to win a historic Champions League, and I think that first one is so important for City as a club, that getting over that line, European pedigree, that history, lived experience, and he's won it, and that's where he can pin it to. Could he have won more? Sure, but you could say that about every single team ever.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, he's done well. On to the next one. On to Wednesday night. And now we're heading to the Camp Nou for a closely contested 7-2 win on the night. 8-3 on aggregate. What a game. Yeah. First and foremost, I watched this game in the pub before the Liverpool game, and it was phenomenal entertainment. The fair play to the Geordies. They had a great time in Barcelona. It's a great city. It's a great place for Champions League football. It's a cathedral of football. It's iconic. Massive that they went there. Newcastle included Andy Gordon in their team. I was debating it in the pub in terms of not Gordon, but the Newcastle team, and I said I'm worried about their Their defensive structure, I think, Dan Burn, I think, going forward, I think he's better than, I think he's I think he's piss poor at the back at times. I think he gets caught. I don't think him and Malik Tau is a good partnership. I think they play too high and they're too slow. And I thought Barca would rip through them. But, Rafinha opens the scoring. Really, really good player. World class. Clinical. Lovely ball from Lewis Hall, who had another great game. To Alanga. Such a good player.
Their first goal for Newcastle was very good.
Really, really nice. Barca go back in front relatively easily. And then Lewis Hall again. What is it? Lamine Yamal playing silly back heels and then, in a dangerous area.
It was a good pass, man.
It was absolutely terrible, wasn't it? And then Alanga again. And I really enjoyed it. I think it's the second celebration of Alanga where he's just staring up at the Newcastle away fans. I think it could be the first one, but either or, it was really cool. It was nice because they were having a great time. Obviously, decent atmosphere in a weird new camp. Obviously, in terms of it's still not full because of the building regs, etc. I've seen that with Anfield. It's not great. And then there's was it a pen on Alanga? I didn't think it was a pen for Newcastle, but Eddie Howe obviously was convinced that it was. Then there's the pen that Barca get that Lamine Yamal converts again and making up for his earlier error. I think that was a pen.
Agreed.
Kieran Trippier. Do you think he should have been sent off? I didn't, but people around me did.
I agree with you. I didn't think he should be sent off.
No. I actually don't think Rafinha, I think it was Rafinha, was going to reach the ball.
Same. Yeah.
But it was a foul. So I think it was fair. And obviously, that's just before half time. You're thinking, this is a great game. This is open. This is really, really good. And if the game finished there, I think Newcastle would be happy.
Yeah.
But it did not. And they came out in that second half and they tore them to shreds with ease.
Yeah.
Firming making it 4-2. Lewandowski becoming the oldest player to score in a Champions League knockout since Ryan Giggs against Schalke in 2011. Lewandowski again, Rafinha. I don't think any of the goals were that good. There was a few mistakes as well. I don't think any of them were none of the goals were super standard. I think Rafinha probably scored my favourite goal from a Barca perspective, the very first one.
Yeah, composure, yeah.
Yeah, no, fully agree. And yeah, I just don't know. It was just one of them, wasn't it? It just. I think you could see the levels and you could see the lack. I talk about it, just having seen it in terms of those Newcastle players haven't played in those nights. They haven't played against these teams, and I think they just collapsed and they didn't have a clue what was going on.
Yeah, I think it just showed against quality, experienced European opposition, they've still got a lot to learn. Because the way they came out in that second half was, they just, like you just alluded to, they just fell apart, didn't they? So,
and what's inexcusable for me is that I think they just gave up.
Yeah.
And with the goals, none of the goals were ridiculously soft. Like the stats don't necessarily say that they were that soft, but I did feel like it was just quite soft. Even Szczesny was coming on for Barca, like Barca was just taking the piss.
Yeah.
They were proper taking the piss. I would be really intrigued. I know there's Newcastle fans. Some of them absolutely love Eddie Howe. Some of them, I think, are ready for a change now.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting where the tide is now because they were always probably going to lose to Barcelona. They did just beat Chelsea at the weekend. And, they beat. I just feel like that result is ridiculously deflating for them because it's just horrible.
How big a setback do you think this is for them and their push for consistent European football?
For consistent Champions League football, I think is a big setback because I don't know. Obviously, I think your Tonali's will leave. I think your Gordons will leave. Liverpool's Anthony Gordon, as I like to call him, and Arsenal's Sandro Tonali. No, I think, but in all seriousness, if they've still got any, I just think you struggle to be taken super seriously.
Yeah,
super seriously. If you struggle to be taken very seriously, if that's what you're putting up when it comes to push. Because I think people often conflate things with, people just want to play in the Champions League, and that is true. Just like, but big clubs, big players, elite players, they want to win the Champions League.
Yeah.
They don't want to play in the Champions League. They want to win the Champions League. They want to compete, and that is not competing.
Yeah.
It was interesting though. Any takeaways that you had from the game, mate?
No, I think you touched upon everything. Obviously, the biggest talk point for me is obviously who Barcelona go on to play in the next round, and that's Atletico Madrid. Yeah, I think we've discussed everything we need to discuss about the Newcastle game, and obviously where it fell apart and where Barcelona were really good. I'm really intrigued to see how this game plays out now against Atletico. Obviously, they played fairly recently in the Copa del Rey. Atletico winning 4-0 and then Barcelona winning 3-0. So there's goals to be had there. Interestingly enough as well, they play in the league before they play each other in the league before they play each other in the Champions League. So they'll play like each other 3 times in the space of 2.5-3 weeks, like.
Yeah.
Which is quite mad. And often when you have teams who play each other so regularly, they can make for some very good games. So I'm very excited to see how this plays. Will they try something in the league to outmaneuver them in the Champions League? You just don't know, do you? So I'm really excited for the next tie. For me, it's a difficult one to predict because, as we'll discuss shortly, you're not too sure what Atletico Madrid will show up. But yeah, I think you've got to give props to Barcelona. A massive win at home. Yeah, credit to them.
Yeah, I think you've got to give the props to Barca. Absolutely. I think we haven't maybe given them enough praise. They're phenomenal. It was also their youngest ever average age Champions League team, 25 years old, and it still had obviously some OAPs in there like Lewandowski.
Wearing his mask.
I really rate Barca. I rated them last year, and I was surprised when Inter Milan beat them in the semi. But that's experience. They've had that painful, but they've got to that point. I think they are a real. There's 8 teams left, and obviously any of the 8 apart from Sporting can win it. Any of the 7 plus Sporting.
7 plus Sporting.
The 7 teams with a Sporting chance apart from Sporting.
Don't sleep on Sporting, mate.
Mate, I will snooze all day. But I think Barca are brilliant. Their attack is fantastic, and I really think they will. I think they'll beat Atletico, and I think that they will give Arsenal a very good game.
And now we're going to go to London for the stadium that myself and Tim have been to. Atletico Madrid travelled to Spurs in a tie that me and Tim had already dubbed as being over due to the absolute chaos that happened in the first leg. On the night, Spurs came out 3-2 victors, 7-5 win in aggregate for Atletico Madrid. And yeah, this game had a bit of everything, didn't it? It had some nice goals, some moments of madness, and a late penalty to make Spurs happy. Obviously, Spurs coming into this game with a lot of question marks over their head. Not to get you too angry, Tim, but they had a decent result the weekend prior to this, and I can see by the eye roll, you're probably not happy with me mentioning that. But yeah, they came into this with redemption in mind, I feel, and I think the only talker point that I would say is for them on Spurs before we get onto the good of Atletico is how this performance now helps them moving forward in the Premier League, because that's where their main fight is at the moment. They've got an absolutely fucking massive game on Sunday, and for me, obviously off Champions League, the loser of this tie goes down, in my opinion.
And people will know when they listen to this who won that game.
People will know. So yeah, it's a massive game yesterday. Tottenham Hotspur against Nottingham Forest, and believe it or not, yes, if you're not up to date, Spurs are in a fucking relegation battle, like so. But yeah, moving on to Atletico. It's one of them, innit? Like we've touched on it. You're not too sure which Atletico team are going to show up.
Yeah.
They seem a bit more expansive this year, which is leaving them much more open than a standard Simeone side. But they've got some quality just now for the goals. Like so, Alvarez had a lovely finish and time to make a cup of tea in the box like before he actually just decided to score the goal.
Lovely goal though. Lovely finish.
It was a very very unsavable goal. I think I don't even Kingsley could make that save. You know what I mean?
Not even Kingsley.
Not even Kingsley. But yeah, have you got any thoughts on the game, Tim?
Conor Moani maybe refinding some of his former form with a nice goal. Xavi Simons seemed, if he can get going for Spurs, that's massive for them in their relegation fight. I thought the Spurs crowd deserved loads of credit. They stayed behind their team. The atmosphere seemed decent.
Yeah.
They believed. I think where Spurs needed to capitalise is after Conor Moani scored and then Simons made it 2-1. They didn't get that next goal. They never went obviously those two clear, and I feel like that maybe we could have seen a different side then to the game because Atletico, I feel like Simeone has no problem losing games, and he goes like he will not care. They will not care at all.
Doesn't give a
and
shit.
they happen to go through. So yeah, Spurs have obviously got some. I wouldn't say it's bigger fish to fry because it's the Champions League, but in terms of their long term stability, obviously they need to stay up, and they weren't going to win the Champions League. So. It's good. It's good for them to at least take a win. Igor Tudor got his first win after a fluky draw the previous weekend. No, a deserved draw. They had played well, and from an Atletico perspective, they're heading now, against Barca. And again, I'm going to remind you of that stat, and I'll remind you of it again when we do the preview show ahead of the quarterfinals in the next couple of weeks. They've never lost under Simeone at home in the Champions League ever. In the knockouts. Sorry, they've obviously lost it in the group stages. They've never lost at home in the knockouts. So, I think it was a bit of a game where I'm glad I didn't have to watch it, and I was in Anfield because there wasn't much going on, in terms of it. But for the Spurs fans, I genuinely mean this. I'm glad that they got to see a win because I think they would have left that game with a bit of hope going, for the rest of the season and going into Sunday, and that game could be huge. It's huge. And,
it's you can't describe how big it is for them. You know what I mean? So,
and I hope the Spurs enjoyed their win. / Nottingham Forest enjoyed their win. / the draw enjoyed their draw.
Yeah, I think is it their first home win in this year, or have they won one other game at home?
I don't think it is. I think it's their first win of the season. Win of the year. I think it's their first win of the calendar year.
Yeah, but
I can't think of another one.
But that sums it up this season. That's mad, isn't it? And then
Is that the first time in 2026 that they've won a game?
Unless they've won away from home. They've won. I know they won away from home. They won away from home against Frankfurt, didn't they?
And they won it against Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League at home.
But have they got a win at home this season? Yes, they beat Dortmund at home.
Yeah, I just said that.
Yeah, it's lost memory. But yeah, Sunday could be their first win if they beat Nottingham Forest in league or. But yeah, let's not take too much away from Atletico. Yes, they lost, but they are the team that progress.
Yeah.
Like Tim, I see them finding it difficult against a flourishing Barcelona team.
I don't think they'll lose the first leg though, and I'll try and remember that when we do our prediction. But no. They're a club
how important do you think the first leg at home will be for them?
Really important, but they've also got a bear and a tree on their badge, and I feel like that's just really important as well. Wednesday night, Liverpool 4, Galatasaray 0. Liverpool progressed to the quarterfinals of the Champions League 4-1 on aggregate. Up the fucking Reds.
Give me your thoughts, Tim.
I really enjoyed Wednesday. I actually fucking loved it. It was a really nice time beforehand. I was having a couple of beers with a few friends in the pub. It was sunny. The optimism was there. Everyone was there too. The crowd knew this is the Champions League. It's the second leg. It doesn't matter. Our thoughts on the manager and the performance from the few days before. It was all about we have to deliver tonight. We have to back the boys. They will come out. And they did. And what lifted, I think, even before the game, was the team selection. I predicted it was going to be a 4-4-2, and it was. It was a variation of a 4-4-2. Some may argue it was a 4-1-3-2, but it's 4-4-2. And yeah, I really liked it. Players playing in the right positions, square pegs and square holes. And yeah, the crowd was up for it beforehand. The atmosphere was really good. There were no Galatasaray fans there, of course, officially. There were a lot there. There were quite a few Turkish lads walking around Anfield. And there was obviously a few that we give like VIPs or whatever. They have to have 100 seats. And they were quite close to me, actually. And we gave them some pelters. I really, I absolutely loved it. And I felt like the intensity was there. The shape was there. We were attacking. We pressed high. I was listening to another podcast, the Anfield Rap podcast, I listen to every single day, basically. And there was a funny comment on there, and I fully agree with it, that the guy said he could earn a lot of money by being Galatasaray's away leg coach, by basically telling them, don't go to Anfield and try and time waste and frustrate, because you're just going to whip up the crowd. So basically, whenever we might be starting to dip energy-wise, this is before it was 1-0, they would time waste for ridiculous amounts of time, and the crowd gets back up. Yeah. You do not wind us up. You wind us up when you're beating us. That's fine. If we need the result, don't wind us up. Yeah. Like, in terms of the players, I mean now. Obviously, fans do it on. But they kept it going. And to be fair to Galatasaray, Victor Osimhen did break his wrist, I think, or his arm or something, during the first half. And it's the first time, I think it's the first time I've seen him live. So I was disappointed until I realised that when after half-time they broke his wrist, because he was just sort of literally running around holding his arm. And I just thought he was still trying to time waste the whole game, but he was crap. So I thought that was interesting. We went 1-0 up, set-piece goal, Maka to Dom. Lovely left-footed finish as well. He had to adjust, which was really, really good. And the first half then sort of proceeded. Salah should round the keeper, tries to lob him, doesn't. Salah gets a pen, misses it.
Should he be taking pens at the minute, do you think?
He hasn't missed that many, to be fair, mate.
You see, well, yeah.
Oh, he hasn't missed that many. He's missed 3 in the Champions League, and ironically, I've been there for them. But overall... But maybe there's an argument you could give it to Szoboszlai or even Maka, who both quite good. But he mishit it, I think. But yeah, there was a question mark of being like, because it felt like he was playing well. Like, will he ever score again? And then 2-0 was a lovely ball from Salah, who was desperate for a goal, but he plays a great ball across the box to Hugo Ekitike, who finishes. Looked like he really enjoyed that for his. But I think it's their Champions League goal of the season. I think third ever in his career.
Yeah.
Then 3-0. At that point, we really needed that second goal. That's what everyone was saying at halftime. We really need the second goal, we got that second goal, and then within a minute or 2 minutes, Gravenberch gets the third from the Salah rebound, kisses the badge as well, right in front of the cup, top boy, and the tie was done, and then Salah scores an absolute screamer, connects, cheeky back heel assist from Wirtz as well.
The Salah of old, mate, that reminded me of.
Mate, he was really good. He was really good on Wednesday night.
Very solid performance.
He misses, but if we get more of that Salah for the rest of the season, yes, I'm not saying he's not back. He's not back. Salah's back. Clip that. But trust me, we'll go far. Like, especially, and that's what I liked about the formation, by the way. That's one of the reasons why I liked it, is because I feel like 4-4-2 will suit Salah far more. We had Frimpong doing the right wing stuff as well as Szoboszlai, so he didn't have to be as, beating men. He could be more on the ball and things like that. I just felt like, and Liverpool, I think it was Hecate stuff that could have won 10-0. I don't know about 10, but we definitely could have. We had 2 disallowed goals. We missed a pen.
Yeah. I was just about to say, there was a period of time, obviously, I was following the game along, and literally my phone lit up about 16 million times in the space of 5 minutes. Liverpool goal, Liverpool goal, Liverpool goal, goal disallowed, Liverpool goal. It was fucking chaos, like.
So it could have been 7, because obviously we had a disallowed goal, 1 for right for offside. The second one shouldn't be disallowed, but it's in Europe, so whatever. And then, and obviously, and then we missed a pen. So that we generally could have won by a ridiculous amount, and we missed other chances as well. But it was just so great to see a Liverpool team that I recognised, identified with.
Yeah,
You know, I met Jan Molby before the game as well. Big shout out to Big Jan.
Big Jan.
Played for both of the clubs that we were representing this evening.
Yeah. Legend. Hates
Liverpool
Cardiff.
legend. Hates Cardiff. No offence to any of our Cardiff listeners.
There aren't none.
They definitely are. Seeing as,
League One again, a little.
seeing as I work there. But yeah, no, it was great. I absolutely loved it in terms of just, you know, even from a perspective of, I was disappointed with Galatasaray. I felt like they just had this complete one game plan again away from home. But unlike Juventus, we actually punished them. Yeah, it was cool to see. You know, Mario Cardi, Leroy Sané came on. No idea why he didn't start. Noah Lang.
How's his
thumbs
thumb,
up.
Yeah.
Nah, hopefully, obviously, in all seriousness, I hope he's all right. I think he's obviously all right. He's going to live. But as in, yeah.
I think it's one of the injuries now. You didn't realise how serious it was until afterwards. No. And then...
No, obviously, I had no clue in the stadium what the hell was going on. I just saw the stretcher coming. I assume he hit his head or something.
He was not having a good time. And, you know, at the time, I think, you know, they should have just cut off the camera. Excuse the pun. So...
Well, I think he needed a hand, mate.
Yeah. Apologies, Noah, if you're this makes it your way.
I'm sure he'll take it in good humour.
But yeah, on to the next round now, and PSG, mate. Revenge. Before I get your opinion, I honestly feel if this Liverpool show up, you can do it.
Yeah, I agree.
But without like being too, like, I don't know, negative. I just don't know what Liverpool will show up, and you might echo those thoughts as well, like.
Yeah, you don't know.
But if you know, and we've said before, obviously, before the Galatasaray game, the first leg, the Liverpool in Europe have been phenomenal, more or less phenomenal all season. This was a very good performance off the back of two shit performances, which has lifted you all now. And I think, like you touched upon the formation, they just need, for me, to continue with it. Like, and I do fancy you against PSG. You know what I mean? So obviously, second leg, first leg, it doesn't really matter. I feel the Anfield factor here will be absolutely massive again. We touched on it before. Obviously, you know, the power that Anfield can have, whether in comebacks or just dominating games, and I just you know, I feel like you could take them on, like. So what about yourself?
100%. If we turn up like this Liverpool team, I think we'll do them. But it's about, we haven't learned lessons all season. We haven't turned corners. You know, we've been an ambi-turner. Yeah. We just keep turning around circles. We don't know what's going on. But you know, on the day of recording, Alisson's picked up another injury. Like, he's out at the weekend. Your phone doing all right there, mate? And
I've paid for someone, apparently.
Yeah, I heard, mate. Alisson's picked up another injury. So if he's out, no, we're not going to win. But also, he might not have had the best start, but Alexander Isak, I think, should at least be on the bench for those Champions League quarterfinals. And that could be a big factor, because Hugo is a top player. Mo's obviously, on the way out, but still, he did what he did on Wednesday night with that goal. To have a player like that to bring on, or even start, maybe, God knows. Depends on how to recover. I assume it'll be off the bench, really. But it could be huge. But yeah, I'm really excited I'm excited again. Like, they pulled me back from the depths. But yeah, respect to Galatasaray. Yeah. I think they've been great in this competition. But yeah, all the best, lads.
A tie over two legs. That was very close. Let's not kid ourselves. We touched upon, obviously, Bayern Munich's dominance in the last round. This continued in this game. A dominant 4-1 display at home. They're through to the next round. Atalanta got their consolation goal to give the travelling fans something to be happy about. But for me, it wasn't just another win for Bayern Munich. I think it was a warning to the rest of the teams left in the Champions League. And we go from there. Really, goals from Harry Kane. We played this game. Obviously, he's feeling better now. Injury free. I say injury free. He's probably not injury free. He's always got something. But he's scoring goals when he can. I mean, he's just what he does.
That second goal he scored was really, really good.
The turn me. I mean, it's not quite.
Is it a Cruyff? It's not a Cruyff, is it?
Well, no. When you think of Cruyff turns, mate, you think of Halvorsen Kanu. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you think of Johan Cruyff.
Or Johan Cruyff. But when he turned, I can't remember which one of his teammates was in the view of the camera. But before he even scored the goal, his teammates were like, because they knew what was coming. It was an exceptional goal, and that's not really something that Harry Kane is known for, in my opinion.
No,
anyway.
He's not nimble or agile.
He's not nimble, or he's not got quick feet work. He just knows where the back of the fucking net is.
I think he's arguably in the form of his career right now.
Oh, mate, yeah, you can't argue that. At the minute, for me, there is no better striker in world football, and there is no better combination of players that can score goals than Bayern Munich's team at the moment.
I think they're built around him and they complement him really well.
Yeah. I think at the minute they look. We've obviously pegged them as early favourites, but they look scary as fuck.
Yeah.
But obviously Atalanta have had a good season, obviously, but it ends here. Bayern Munich now progress, as you mentioned earlier in the team, to play to extend the amount of times these two teams have played each other. Another 2 legs against Real Madrid. What a tie!
Yeah, it's going to be great, isn't it? It's the second best tie of the round.
Yeah, second best tie of the round. But yeah, it's going to be an exceptional football, like absolute quality, from player to player, and I'm really looking forward to it. Do you have any thoughts, Tim, on the Atalanta game before we touch on the Madrid game?
Luis Diaz got a lovely cheeky chip. Was exceptional. And Lennart Karl, I think, became the youngest German, to score in a knockout competition, or maybe the youngest player for Bayern, to score in a knockout game. Yeah, I thought it was brilliant. Really looking forward to Bayern Munich, Real Madrid. Atalanta gave us a phenomenal playoff round against Dortmund. They're having a bit of a shit season in the league. But yeah, I think they've been great in Europe over the last sort of 6-7 years, first under Gasperini, and now this year's been really good. And yeah, Bayern move on. They're a great team. Let's see them in the semis. Well, as I've already discussed, the Liverpool Galatasaray game, so we thought we'd chuck a few videos of the game, obviously with full audio into the pod. For you guys to enjoy.
Some good celebrations as well. Hugo Comodas, mate.
Champions League last 16 done. Time to wrap up our final segment of the day. Scott, atmosphere of the week. I'll go first.
Go on, mate.
Anfield.
Shock. I am going to say Sporting.
Wait, they had empty seats.
Joking. No, I'm joking. I think Spurs is very good. Barcelona is very good. But the noise from Anfield is very good. So I got to go Anfield. All jokes aside.
There we are. What was your game of the week?
It's a choice of 2 for me. It's Barcelona, Newcastle, or Sporting, Bodo, Glimt.
You know what? I thought the answer was obvious, but it's probably for me. It's still Barca Newcastle. If I remove my bias of the game I was actually at,
Yeah.
but obviously Sporting Bodo is probably more historic, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Goal of the week.
For individual brilliance, I'm going to say Eze. But for a bit of team play, I really like Newcastle's first goal.
I'm going to go Mo Salah.
Yeah. Shock. Do you
I thought it was brilliant.
have a favourite goal outside of Liverpool players' goal? To make you think?
The own goal that Galatasaray scored that got us left. Favorite goal outside of that, or the goal the Sporting scored to put them 4-0 up in the 91st minute. The Araujo goal.
The goal that looked
It's
like
for the passion.
the time was slowed down as well, like when that goal was going in. You know what I mean?
It was good though. I think it was quite a nice goal actually.
It was a very nice
They
goal.
beat the offside trap quite well.
Yeah.
And lastly, the performance of the week.
I think there's so many to choose from in it. There's so many to choose from. Whether you want to go for a team or a player, but I think you've got to give credit to Liverpool because they've brought that it feels like they've plucked that performance out of a hat. But I've got to mention Sporting again because I don't think many expected that result. So
Of course, just to remind the viewers, this could be viewers or listeners. This could be a team, could be a manager, could be fans, could be a player,
anything, yeah. Like,
however we interpret the question.
yeah, so I'll go for the team, mate. I'll go for Sporting Lisbon. What about yourself?
No, that is the right answer, but I will go for. I cannot believe I spoke about Liverpool for at least 10 minutes, and I didn't mention the best player on the night, Florian Wirtz. He created 8 chances more than any other player who's ever done at Liverpool since Champions League records began in 03-04. He was exceptional. When we beat PSG, if we win number 7, when we win number 7, he will be so key. He was, he should be the best player on the pitch against Galatasaray, but he transcends, mate. Listen, when he learns to put his foot through the fucking ball and finish, and he was unlucky.
He's a very delicate player, mate.
He was unlucky with one of them. He should have scored at least one, though. But however, regardless of that, I'm going to park that. The cheeky back heel to Salah, the assist. He just ran the show, mate. He was phenomenal. And obviously, he had almost a free roll in this 4-4-2.
Yeah.
Times he had to do bits on the left. Atletico went left, which is why the formation was so fluid. But no, I think for me, quietly, he's building up to something. And I think the Champions League and the rest of the season is his platform to explode.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to have a great World Cup. And I think that from then onwards, I think he's about to hit new heights, really. I really just...
We've spoken about him a few times with me, so...
he's one of my favourite players to watch ever.
Like, he started
he's not even anywhere near where he's going to get to.
He obviously started his Liverpool career quite slow.
But it was still great to watch. I still love watching it.
Still great to watch, like, and people were saying he was underachieving, but he was still doing very good things.
His teammates been putting the fucking ball in that.
But yeah, obviously, we've spoken a lot about Florian Wirtz. Obviously, I've gone with Tim to watch a few Liverpool games, and I've said to Tim, it's different, as we all know, it's different watching a player in person than it is on TV. And if you have a chance to watch him live, or even if there's a player cam sort of thing, just watch him, because he is phenomenal. He is phenomenal, and when he's on it, and Liverpool are on it, he's just fucking amazing. Like, so,
he's so good. Yeah,
he's a slick player as well, beautiful player.
So yeah, that's actually my low-key performance of the week. But yeah, obviously Sporting, fair play, history, brilliant. You actually deserve it. And yeah, mate, just to sign off. Quarter-final. Hype.
Yeah.
We've got Arsenal against Sporting Lisbon. We've got Barcelona against Atletico. We've got Liverpool against PSG. And we've got Bayern Munich against Real Madrid. Which game are you most? We kind of teased that a little bit. Which game are you most excited for?
It's the easy answer, isn't it? It's got to be Bayern Munich, Real Madrid.
What? Yeah, obviously mine is different, but why are you most excited for that?
It's like I have backed and I have heavily backed Bayern Munich to win this Champions League, and I still think that. But what we saw from the two sides in the last ties, it's just going to be pure quality. And you just know in these sort of games, it's going to take a moment of absolute brilliance. Well, I say that now, and one of them could be shit. You never know. But more often than not, when there's two teams of this high quality, they often go up another level when they play each other. So I just think it's going to be an exceptional game of football. And it could be made more exciting the fact that Real Madrid have Lunin in goal rather than Courtois. So, yeah. Obviously, I know your answer.
Liverpool PSG, yeah. Liverpool PSG.
But if you...
it was one of the best games in Europe last year. People loved it. And I just feel like it's the European champions up against the European elite. And it's, it's two great atmospheres, two great sets of fans, two great sets of kits. There's still iconic players on both. Oof. I can't wait. I genuinely... It's going to be great. All the ties are going to be great. Real Madrid, Barca as well. I keep doing that. Real Madrid, Bayern Munich is going to be great. Even Barca, Atletico is going to be great. And then, I'm sure I'll watch the highlights of Arsenal Sporting.
Yeah, you've got a feel for Sporting, and obviously,
it's the biggest gap, isn't it? It's the biggest.
Yeah, not that we're sleeping on Sporting, because I coined that phrase a couple of episodes ago, and as you can tell, I like it quite a lot. But you just can't see. You can't see a way away past Arsenal for them, can you? So, but yeah, it's going to be an exciting four ties. 8 teams left, or as you said, 7 teams left on Sporting. Some exciting matchups. Would you say favourites have changed now, or are you happy to stick with obviously with what we've been saying the last 3 episodes?
So at the moment we were saying Bayern. We don't always have to agree, but it was Bayern Arsenal final with Bayern winning.
Does Tim think one game of Liverpool being brilliant is enough to overcome PSG and then overcome Bayern Munich and then potentially overcome Arsenal to win the Champions League for a 7th time, so he can post that photo he took in a stadium tour in Amsterdam?
I've done it in quite a few places. I'm going to say I have an alternative final. I still think the final right now is Bayern Arsenal. But I actually do have an alternative. And listen, there's only 8 teams left. There's not that many alternatives. So it's not like I'm reinventing.
I feel like I know who you're going to say. So,
but with fans, and fans change their opinion. At the end of the day, that's kind of the point. And I kind of like that. I'm going to go for my alternative final is Liverpool-Barcelona.
Interesting. I did not think you... I thought you were going to stick with Bayern Munich. But I thought you'd bring Barcelona into the fold. So.
Yeah. Do I genuinely think Liverpool can be consistent enough to get there? Absolutely. No. I'm not sure.
But you've got to believe though, haven't you? So.
Of course, and I am believing it in terms of I think if we beat PSG, you try telling me Liverpool aren't winning that Champions League.
Obviously, Tim's opinion all could change if they lose the Premier League game before we do the podcast.
Before we do record, we'll probably lose every league game before, but we'll be...
Such is their season at the moment. Obviously, being friends with Tim this year has been quite difficult, but I'm really happy to see him talk about Liverpool in a positive light for what seems like quite a long time. So it's been great.
All good, isn't it? But yeah, no, I think. But if we focus actually on the Barcelona element, I just feel like they're so good, and I know they're so good, and I don't know why people are thinking there's Arsenal, even ourselves, foregone conclusion when they're going to have to potentially beat Barcelona.
I think it's just the fact that they are really good, but obviously you can't compare a Newcastle setup and an Arsenal setup because Arsenal are so much better.
I know, but you've seen, I don't know.
But like you said, the defender by Newcastle for some of the goals was absolutely shocking. If they do the same thing to Atletico Madrid, then I'll believe it. But then again, Atletico Madrid have been a bit, yin yang this season.
I'm just saying, it's just the alternative. I think that's the flip side of the coin.
I like it. I think out of all the teams, all the other teams that I feel could progress to the final, Barcelona is the clear and obvious favourite.
Yeah.
But I'm still of the mindset that I think it'll be a Bayern Munich Arsenal final with Bayern Munich on to win it.
Yeah, I'll stick with that for now.
Yeah. Subject to change, hopefully.
Subject to Anfield. And yeah, we go from there. But yeah, no, it's been a pleasure recording this week with Scott. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Please follow us, rate us on Apple Podcasts. That's where we listen to us, or Spotify. Follow us, subscribe. Go on our Instagram, Echoes in Europe Pod.
Send some comments on your thoughts. Just get involved.
We love it. Watch the reels. Get involved. Yeah, but yeah, appreciate it. It's been a phenomenal week on the continent. All the best.